Hello, good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Morning.
My name is Brian Schneider, and I am the Director for GLI's Investor Development efforts. Thank you for joining us for our first ever Caffeine in Quarantine this morning. We are excited to connect and see everyone's faces again. I'm going to just run through a few things before we get started. We will leave everyone unmuted, but we will ask that you either mute your line when you aren't talking or just try to eliminate the background noise while others are speaking. We want to have an open conversation, and we don't want a lot of background noise drowning people out. What to expect on this call? I'm going to provide a few GLI general updates, what your chamber's been working on in the last month. And then we're going to kick it off with some introductions before we open the floor for questions and discussion. So shouldn't run more than the allotted time of 1 hour. So we'll first start. I'll give you just a few updates, kind of what GLI has going on. So we also are sending out regular communications with these updates. So we'll go over some information on how to make sure you're receiving those towards the end of the call. But GLI has created a crisis support hub to help businesses in this area during COVID-19. We'll share some links to this hub in the chat here shortly. But on this hub, you are able to find information on how to assist displaced workforce, information about Kentucky's uninsurance program, even a small business Q&A with the SBA. You also do have a COVID-19 renewal task force that GLI has initiated. And the purpose of this task force is basically just to navigate our region's economy post-COVID-19. We don't know how long that will be. That's the question everyone wants to know. But this is going to be a task force designed to help navigate the economy and get us up and running so there isn't a huge lag time once we're able to do so. Something else I want to mention, if you haven't already, make sure you're taking the U.S. Census, the 2020 U.S. Census. It's critical to shaping our community. Making sure that everyone participates is vital for the Louisville area and our neighborhoods and our communities getting the funding they need. And this is for the next 10 years. So if you haven't already, make sure you're doing that. And then lastly, before I hand it over to my colleagues, if you haven't been participating in any of our virtual events until now, I do invite you to visit the GLI website, greaterlouisville.com/events. You will see that our team is busy putting together a lot of programming to help connect you guys, members of our business community, to resources that will assist you. So just an idea of a few we have coming up. We do have a best practices for remote workers on April 23rd. We have a stock market and economic outlook updates on the 28th. So we're constantly adding new things. Check that out. Those are free to get involved. Take a look at those. So thank you for the time. And what I'm going to do is I'll hand it over now to my colleague, Jordan Clemens, and we'll make some quick introductions. Jordan?
It looks like Jordan might be having some trouble with his audio. So I'm going to jump in and do introductions, and then maybe he can hop in and do open floor questions. So we are going to walk through, some introductions, and we've limited the capacity of this event so that we can hopefully allow everyone to actually speak and do introductions. So I am just going to take a moment to introduce the folks from GLI that we have on the phone, just so we give our investors appropriate time to speak. So you'll see a couple familiar faces throughout. So we've got Brian, of course, he introduced himself, and Jordan and myself, and we are all on the investment team. Rebecca Wood and Sarah DeVisher Wisdom are also on their line. We also have Megan Mayer, Christine Tarquinio, and Aaron McKinney, as well as I think I saw Dina Karam is there and McCarran Avalon. So we've got a big team. And I actually also see Morgan Cooksey. So we've got a lot of GLI folks on the line, and it will give you an opportunity to ask questions across any of our GLI pillars. So we've got folks from economic development, talent attraction, investment, So really any questions that might come up, hopefully we can field those for you. And if not, we will certainly take those back and bring them to the team so we can get you a great answer. So right now we're going to give everybody just a couple seconds to introduce themselves, tell us, the business that you're with, how you're doing during this interesting time. So the way that we're going to work we're going to just call on people, and you'll be able to unmute yourself and kind of give yourself a little elevator speech on who you are. So I see we've got ambassadors on the line. So Frank, would you mind to kick us off with a quick introduction?
No, I'd be happy to. Good morning to everybody. My name is Frank Buster, and I'm with Byrne Insurance Group, a locally owned insurance agency here in Louisville and full service. We are busy helping our clients navigate the employee benefit arena right now, whether they should lay off, furlough. We're also assisting our clients with business interruption claims when they've had to shut down and try to make sure that they can stay at least somewhat whole. I'm also the co-chair of the GLI Ambassador program. I've been an ambassador for about a year and a half, maybe 2 years, and stay actively involved with the GLI different committees and aspects.
Great, thanks, Frank. Let's see. David Rumler, would you like to introduce yourself as well? It looks like you might be muted. Oh, there you go.
Hi, I have a management consulting practice. I'm an advisor to early stage ventures. I have 2 in transportation in California, Silicon Valley, 2 here. One is in healthcare and one is in solar. And my company is Clean Tech Strategy. And then I have one in Charlottesville, Virginia, also in transportation. And so these are early stage companies. The one here in solar just received $1 million seed round last year, and we're doing very well. So that's basically what I do.
Wonderful. Moving right along, Laura Jones.
I am Laura Jones, and I'm the Donor Development Manager for Lifehouse Maternity Home. We are a 24-hour residential facility for pregnant and new mothers. So we are, I guess, considered an essential business. So babies don't stop their arrival in this world just due to COVID-19, and toddlers still need to be potty trained. So we're still continuing our programming with our youngest residents all the way up to with our moms as well. So we have had to postpone our major fundraiser for the year and several of our smaller fundraisers and things. So we're trying to pivot and plan and regroup with those. So keep business going.
Thank you. Matthew Stone, it looks like you're outside. Can you introduce yourself?
Every chance I can get. I am Matthew Stone with Bluestone Productions. Essentially, our main service that we offer is we produce live events. So as you can imagine, along with a lot of other folks in a similar industry, we are shifting, and our pause button has been hit and continues to be. Everything's virtual now. So of course, in addition to how we've provided clients virtual meetings and production prior to this, our biggest goal now is a lot of research and development, because folks are coming to us with all kinds of their own platforms. And so really that's where we are today, is how do we meet people where they are and try to integrate our enterprise platforms for virtual events. So exciting. I feel like somebody should be giving me continuing education credits, but we'll see how that plays out. Nice to be with you guys.
Thank you. I do feel like we're all going to become very flexible in our roles after this pandemic. Foster, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, good morning, everybody. Foster McCarl. I am a business coach with Action Coach Louisville. I've yet to get through to the governor's office to explain to him why we are an essential service, because we're helping keep the businesses in business. I'm really excited to be here this morning. Most of all, as many of you know, because how much I love coffee. So I already asked Alana what we were going to be doing with our coffee. So I figured I would start. I'm actually drinking out of my Death Star cup. It's called Imperizione Napoli. and it's from Napoli, and it's with Nespresso, and it's a velvety creamy cup with an extremely nice body, and it's pleasantly bitter cocoa notes, which is wonderful. And if Sarah, I'll make you a deal, Sarah. If you put your video on, this box of currently out of stock Nespresso is, oh look, I didn't even get over, she's already on. Okay, so there's like 3 of these left, and they're currently out. They said they're going to come back at the end of the month, but these are yours. So I just need you message me your home address. I will mail them to you. These, and they're really good, but they're actually cheaper than the other ones. When they have a limited edition, they always make it almost twice the cost. So anyway, so that's my coffee report as well, which is I'm really getting into my coffee since I'm home and have all of my milk and everything with me. So that's it. Enough out of me. This is yours though, Sarah.
Thanks, Foster. Yes, we definitely should have been talking about the caffeine we are consuming. I'm drinking tea, but I am drinking it out of a Louisville stoneware mug, so keeping it local. We are going to continue on with our introductions. Let's see here. Amy, did you want to go ahead and introduce yourself?
Hi, everyone. Amy Crittenden, owner of Oasis Senior Advisors. My husband and I work together, and we help seniors navigate senior living. Similar to a real estate agent, we look at their finances, we look at their healthcare needs, and area of town. So currently we're keeping a pulse on who's accepting residents, who's not, and then how they're accepting. So are they accepting from home, or do they need to be in a hospital or a rehab setting? And what their quarantine process looks like once they get into the community. So a lot of our cases we're in planning stage right now, but we have had an emergency move in. Yesterday we did virtual tours of the communities. So we have a digital platform already established before this. We just kind of amped it up to the next level. So anyone looking for senior living, family members, friends, skilled nursing, anything like that, great referral.
Great, thank you. Let's see, Liz Young. I know that your video doesn't seem to be on, but if you'd like to introduce yourself. Oh, there you are.
Hi. Yes. Hi, my name is Liz, and I am working with Cuno, which is a pretty early stage startup out of Seattle, actually. I'm working with the founder there. I moved to Louisville to work for a startup called Roadmap, which some of you may be familiar with. So I'm coming from the healthcare side of things, and Cuno is automated training and communication software. So very helpful right now, as a lot of people are shifting to e-learning and totally virtual workspaces. But because we are so early, we did and do rely a lot on cold reach outs and referrals, marketing and events. So we definitely have had to rethink our sales strategy and marketing strategy. So that's been our biggest challenge right now with everything going on.
Awesome, thank you. Lance Mann, you want to give yourself an introduction?
Yeah, hi, can you hear me?
We can.
Yeah, all right, this is Lance. I'm a director at Dean Dorton, Allen Ford. We're a CPA firm in Louisville and throughout Kentucky. Our team is fully remote and been that way and been busier than we ever have been for the last 3 weeks, and helping clients manage through the CARES Act and trying to get as much in the terms of Paycheck Protection Program as they can get, which from what I'm hearing, all of the money ran out as of last night or early this morning. For those who have not taken advantage of it yet, there will likely be more money put into the pot, but the question is when, as the legislators continue to negotiate about it. But we've continued we were built for this in terms of working remote. We were already set up for it, and so our team transitioned within about 48 hours, and that's gone very well. And I think we're all ready to come back to the office, all kind of tired out on virtual happy hours, but we're ready to raise a glass or have a cup of coffee at an actual coffee shop here in the next 4 to 6 weeks, hopefully.
Great, thank you. And we actually just had an event with Dean Dorton from a cybersecurity standpoint, and that is all still available on our Crisis Hub. So if anyone's interested in that, it was very comprehensive. Frank Thomas, do you want to take a moment to introduce yourself?
I believe in the chat, Frank mentioned he doesn't have a mic, but he is
Oh.
with Written Rave business. Says he's down from 300,000 this month to 18,000 tents, tables, chairs, and rentals.
Well, welcome, Frank. Sorry, I missed that note. Jason Kyle, do you want to take a moment to introduce yourself?
Hello, I'm Jason Kyle. I kind of popped in late, so I'm not sure exactly how deep we're going in on these little
introduction
stuff.
What are you drinking? What kind of coffee are you drinking, Jason?
What was that?
What kind of coffee are you drinking this morning?
I actually have water. I've been doing really good and drinking a lot of water. I have a little espresso first thing, and then I got my little rocks glass. Turns out it's a good shape and size about a liquid for me to take on a regular basis. I don't know why, but
good for you.
So doing that, and like I said, working from home, we got a lot of the other guys are doing the same, and hashtag Mulu. I got this custom sign made, so feel free to check out that on Instagram and LinkedIn.
Great, thanks so much. Welcome. And then last, it looks like we've got, and I hope I pronounced this correctly, Devanir Brooks. Are you on the line?
Hey, how are you guys? Let me get my camera up and running. There we go.
Hello.
Hey, how are you? I'm overseeing the Home 2 Suites in Nulu and the Hancock House in Nulu.
Wonderful. Thanks so much for joining us.
Absolutely.
I think I was able to capture all of the non-GLI folks. So we're just excited for you all to participate in this first gathering. And I am going to hand it over to Jordan Clemens to do some open floor and questions.
All right. Is this mic working now?
Yes.
All right, great. I've got 2 babies at home, so I'm mute heavy, and I guess I didn't understand how to unmute it. So we're going good now. So thanks everyone for joining us. We wanted this to be more just an open discussion. We're providing a lot of program on topics that are pertinent to businesses right now, things that you need to know. Like Alana mentioned, those are on our Crisis Hub, but we really just wanted to get together today to just talk, come together as a community. We would normally be doing this all the time as it is. So we really just want to leave the floor open to you all. We have, sort of like some things, something I'm interested in, honestly, is what people are watching. I'm sure streaming is up tremendously right now. So if anybody has any good shows that they want to share, I think that would be something that would be, beneficial for everybody. We're delving back into Lost. I don't know if everyone has seen that show before. It is intense. It's long. And some days between the babies, we get maybe 10 minutes in. So we've got a lot to watch for a long time. So yeah, just open discussion. If you have a question for us, we're happy to answer, but we're just, trying to come together as a community here. So what's going on with you all?
I'm just blown away you started watching Lost. Every time it accidentally rolls over to start Lost, my wife or I jump on the remote and stop it. We're like, we're not ready. We're not ready to go through this again. We've already both been through it once. But I'm all over. I'm a geek. I'm all over the Science Channel and Scigo. So there's. I love the documentaries. There's Mysteries of the Abandoned is one, and there's another one called Mysteries of the Underground. And they usually do about like 3 short sittings within each and talk about like where they were. And it's, I don't know, I love it. I'm a nerd. So I
have found I'm watching just a lot of throwback television. So similarly to Lost, I guess, just a lot of stuff that I've seen the streaming networks been pushing out. I'm a very large West Wing fan, so I always find that's a good one to return to, especially if I'm, just feeling like I want to be more connected to my idealistic version of government, which I think it's easy to do via television. So if you haven't checked that out, I think it's a good one to watch.
I'll tell you. So I didn't tell you my coffee this morning. I'm actually supporting local. I'm drinking some Heine Brothers. Picked up a couple of bags and we just make them here at the house so we don't have to leave. But we watched my wife and I watched the Tiger King documentary on Netflix. I don't know if anyone else saw this. We don't have to go into it on this. This is an appropriate forum. But if you want to hear a wild, true story, I say check that out. It's a heck of a watch.
Yeah, got it through a couple of them. That was it.
It's
I gave up
interesting.
an hour of my life and some brain cells for that. So. For an hour, that's all I could devote to it.
If you want something fun, try Netflix Gracie and Frankie.
Oh, yeah, that's a good
show.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Great cast.
After the Jennifer Aniston and Steve Carell on, I think it's on Amazon, or I think it's on
Apple TV.
It's on Apple TV. It's really good.
A movie or series?
The morning show, I think it's called.
Series.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a
morning
series.
show. That's it. That's it.
I'm curious about Erin's collection behind her. She's got movies and CDs. She's quite
I have
the.
an entire room that's filled with nothing but media. I used to run a music store back in another life, so, and I've got quite a collection. So,
Do you have vinyl back there?
we only have a little bit of vinyl. We don't have a lot. Yeah, that's gonna probably be the next thing that we get started on.
Nice.
My son has a collection of vinyl. He's been categorizing them. There's an app that he can, that calculates the cost, what they're worth, the value of them, and then, the genre and all that. So pretty cool.
Yeah, the
Keep you
entire
busy.
room is covered here, so I probably have, I don't know, 15,000 CDs probably, and I don't even know how many DVDs. So yeah, not just my collection; it's his collection too. So we have quite a bit.
I have a geeky suggestion that's not an actual movie, but there's a website called futurelearn.com, and I'm currently taking a course on ancient Rome, and it's free. So they have some other free courses on there, which is pretty cool. I don't know how long you can upgrade and have an extended viewing time or something like that, but I'm just for the free one, I think it's like 4 or 5 weeks, and it's a combination of just PDFs and videos and things like that. I don't know how many different courses they have, but I don't know. I love it. I love ancient Rome. So when I saw the opportunity come up, I was like, oh yeah, we'll check it out. So anyway, if there's something that's a little bit different than Netflix or streaming, which I love it, but of course I'm in front of this, and I think I need to go for a walk. There's a good question. Where's some good places to go for a walk where nobody is outdoors in the woods? My friends in California are getting arrested for for trying to go stand up paddling. They get arrested. The cops come out on the beach, and if they find them out like walking in certain parks, like they're all over it in LA. So I don't know if there's any place we could chance going for a walk out around here, but has anybody done that, or are we all just on full lockdown?
We live by a park, so we take a lot of walks. It's Tom Sawyer Park. So some days it's more crowded, some days it's not. When you meet the people on the sidewalk, you're 6 feet apart, and then you go back on the sidewalk. Everyone sort of understands what's going on there. So we're lucky to have that close by.
I like walking the golf courses.
Yeah. The East End is great, and they've also closed quite a few, 4 of the Olmsted parks to the loops to traffic, which Cherokee is fantastic, except when you're trying to drive from Crescent Hill to the Douglas Loop area. It almost makes it impossible to try to get around with all the road closures between the park and the construction and things like that. So, but it's a good time to do road construction because there's not much traffic. So,
Yeah, there's a good.
Well, you could be like my daughter was telling me that, I'm sure you guys already know, in New York, people are adopting dogs because that's the only time you can actually be outside is if you can walk your dog. So it's like, where can I get a dog? I'm gonna go for a walk.
My friend did a video of Times Square, and they said it was like Tom Cruise in Vanilla Sky when he was running around Manhattan and there's like nobody around. And he said he was going to go, and I said, yeah, dude, you're in New York. There's going to be 50 people with the exact same idea. And of course I was wrong. And the video was just, it was crazy. There's just an empty Times Square, which was just a trip. But yeah, so he goes out and breaks the law all the time. He goes out and has a cigar. He has a dog, but he's not walking his dog when he's out. But it's just funny because he's a germaphobe. He's never shaken people's hands, and he's been on Purell for years. And so now he just looks at us, he's like, I was right. And we're like, all right. But he's out like smoking cigars, and we're on video stream. We're going, dude, I don't think you should be out there just like having a cigar. So, but yeah, it's a different world out there. New York's getting hit hard but there's like no dogs to adopt now, right?
I've seen some stories about shelters running out of adoption dogs, which is a fantastic, result from this crisis. So there's a positive.
There's plenty of opportunities to go hiking in the parklands along Floyd's Fork. It's not very crowded at all. I go cycling there myself Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Laura. No, you're good.
We've really just been walking around our neighborhood, and what's really encouraging to me actually is we live in Germantown, and we were worried about real estate. Germantown's been very popular right now in terms of buying and selling and just houses moving, and we were worried that this would halt that. But honestly, every day we see more for sale signs going up, which I find it just comforting that something is still happening. People are still, making changes in their life and considering those types of big moves. So it's comforting to me to just walk around our neighborhood and see those changes.
Well, in Germantown, one of the designated opportunity zones in Louisville right now for building and rehabbing?
I would not be surprised. I don't know that, but I just based on really all of the changes that we've seen, we've been here for about 5 years. So just the change we've seen in the last 5 years has been pretty drastic.
Yeah. Is Chex doing carry out?
They are, and you can smell their fish sandwiches blocks away, and they are so enticing. They just bring you waft over the smell.
Chex isn't going anywhere.
Yeah.
No.
It was there before we were, and it'll be there after we're gone.
Mm-hmm.
No, I've got several clients that are doing some building and rehabbing in the Germantown, Logan Street, Shelby Park area.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Shelby's really doing well.
Yeah, that's where I'll end up a little bit later today. I've got to meet an inspector down there.
Speaking of people working, so I have a plug for a client that is a restaurant that is doing takeout curb service at Nushnosh. If everybody's aware of where that is, so they're still doing. And by the way, I guess it doesn't matter anymore because Lent's over. But we got their fried fish because, of course, there's no fish fries. Which was another real sad part of this pandemic. But anyway, their fish and chips they were amazing. If you haven't had anything at Nushnosh. Right now, what's happening is pretty much Anush, if everybody knows Anush, he's in the kitchen, and Paula is actually delivering out with a couple other people going to the curbside service. So he's making almost all the food, which is for somebody of his caliber to be making any food. Every time he makes anything for me, I'm all over it. Yeah. But anyway, so I think it's one of those. There's another Facebook group that's about
carry out
Louisville carry
or something.
Yeah. So I think that's another way. And the other thing that people have been talking about is a way to support local businesses, including restaurants. If you're not really into that, I mean, we do HelloFresh and stuff like that too. But just to mix it up, it's helpful. Just going and buying gift certificates. That you don't have to use now, but you can help their cash flow right now. Is a really, really good thing. I actually had a business question for people because I was on a panel yesterday for the Family Business Center, and it was interesting. How many of you are working more now than you were before the crisis and quarantine? Anybody? Yeah. I don't know. I've worked from home before, so this isn't a new thing for me. But
do you want me to answer that, Foster?
Well, I know what your answer should be if she's still on the. No, you don't have to answer that. Sarah's not on the line anymore.
I have a kid on each side. hide. Okay, I'm in.
I just find it interesting though, because everybody's got a different set of circumstances. Some people there is no work to do. There's no office to go to. Other people like me, I'm still meeting with my clients via Zoom and still doing webinars. And we have a new marketing person actually. So there's all these things going on. And it's just interesting. It just shows me how, and to connect with people in our team, I realize that not everything is like it is for me, or when we're leading our teams, that's not always the case. So I just like to, not to make this about business, because we're talking about a lot of things just as far as quarantine is concerned, but it's just interesting to hear what's going on with people, because some people are sitting here losing their mind saying, how do I fill the hours of my day without cleaning my house, right? I mean, there's some of that. And then there's other people with kids. They're just like, I'm losing my mind, and it's just a lot to deal with.
Yeah, I think the variability, you nailed it there. Everyone I've talked to, and customers or prospective customers, some of them are completely dead, totally on pause. Everything is different. Other ones are busier than ever, and yeah, it's kind of crazy. What's been interesting is for us, the smaller and medium-sized businesses have seemed to be the ones who are still chugging along. Some of them even thriving. Like we have some construction supply clients who are, just their sales teams have moved remote, but otherwise essentially business as usual. It's the bigger companies that have kind of put things on pause for a lot of folks.
We're extremely busy, but just a different set of circumstances and questions that we're getting versus what we would have called every day. So everything's a little bit outside the box right now for our clients.
I think those are all great points. And as far as I go, we've been contacting every investor for GLI and asking them what they need, what we can be doing for them. And you really just can't assume that you know what someone else has going on. Some are so busy they don't know what to do with themselves. Some have more time than they ever have. So making all these calls and reaching out to people, whether they're your current clients, your prospects, just your business contacts, I think just don't assume. Advice I would give is don't assume that you think that they're busy or they don't have time or whatever. Just give them a call, see what they have to say. A lot of people have really appreciated, even if they don't have anything that they need from us. We share our resources. It's nice to hear from somebody. It's nice to do these things just to hear someone else on the other side of the phone that cares and can talk to them and help them not go totally crazy right now.
Yeah, it's funny, the folks that in healthcare, at least in our senior living healthcare, that seemed so busy they wouldn't answer their phone. They would rather text or things. Now they're like, hey, it's good to talk to you. So they're answering the phone more often than just doing other. I mean, it's easy to, we can't go in and like pop in the skilled nursings, or we can't do tours face to face anymore, but for a short time, hopefully. But there's always other options.
Did anyone have any questions specifically for anyone on the GLI team? We do have a few people here. So we've got the investment team, we've got Liv and Lou, we've got people from the events team. Rebecca's on here, has popped in and out. Anything specifically that you have questions for from us?
Anybody on the economic development team?
I think we did before, but I'm not sure about right now.
Dina was, no. Dina's
Give us your questions anyway, and we'll be able to.
Yeah.
I'm on the economic development team. I might be able to provide a little bit of insight.
Who is that?
Christine.
Okay.
Yeah, so go ahead, David. What was your question?
Yeah, what are we doing to prepare to reset the economy locally?
Yeah, that's something that we've been talking a lot about. In fact, we had a brainstorm session with the entire ED team yesterday to talk about what the new normal is going to look like and how we're going to plan for what that's going to look like. Sarah has been working with a lot of our business leaders to develop a new task force that is all focused on how we're going to rebuild the economy. And I think Carrie Stemler has agreed to chair it. But there are at least, 20, 30 people that have agreed to serve on that. Their main focus is going to be on dealing with what we're dealing with now with COVID-19, and then transitioning into what the future is going to look like. From the talent attraction standpoint, I think we have a lot of opportunity because we, as a state, have been doing a pretty good job comparatively in managing this crisis and mitigating flattening the curve a little bit. And I think that, at least, I don't know if you all saw a couple weeks ago, there was an article that was run in the Courier Journal that focused on individuals who had moved away to big cities like New York and Chicago. And as soon as the pandemic hit, they came home. I think we have an opportunity to think about talent attraction maybe in a different way than we have previously. And I think business attraction will operate a little differently as well. So right now we're all putting our thinking caps on and trying to figure out what we can do in the new reality post-COVID-19.
Christine, a lot of the hiring that's going on now is early stage ventures, yet they're not very well represented in GLI.
Yeah, and that's something that I think will be focused on throughout this year and next year. I know that that's a main part of what Sarah wants to accomplish. And frankly, we're going to need to, because that's where the growth is. I will say that another team member on our economic development team, Jesse Shook, has been working hand in hand with Kentuckiana Works, and they've created a new job board where anyone who's looking for work can go to find current jobs that are open. And then they're also working with HR departments to match a business that is laying off a number of people, a significant number of people, 10 or 20 or 50 or 100, with a business that is significantly hiring that number of people, and then making sure that skill sets match and all of the requirements that the new company has are communicated to those individuals in an effort to try and keep large numbers of people from filing unemployment insurance and to keep them working.
David, are you signed up for Sarah's update emails that get sent out 3 times a week? Are you getting those?
No, I'm not.
Okay, I'll make sure, if you'll drop your email address in the chat, or you can send it to me privately, I'll make sure you get on those. She sends those every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and we'll give you the most up-to-date info on all the things that we have going on in those.
We're actually going to be reducing those, Jordan, but they'll at the very least be weekly. We do link to a lot of really helpful information, like the Crisis Hub and also our COVID-19 resource page.
One of my ventures in California is a multi-billion-dollar opportunity. We'd like to manufacture here in Kentucky, working with the Cabinet for Economic Development in Frankfurt. And so I need to plug into GLI in this area.
That's a good transition for me, if I may. So we understand how important the communication is during this time while we're all adjusting to this new normal. So GLI has actually set up a program where we are creating free memberships for anyone who wants to join the chamber, so you can begin receiving our communications, get access to the events and resources. It's a 90-day membership. It's absolutely free, and we will reevaluate this as this crisis continues. So David, if you'd like, we will follow up this call maybe with an email to anyone interested about the details of that, so you can get signed up and started on that right away.
Yeah, well, this venture is in the federal infrastructure bill going through Congress right now, and it's not funded yet. And so, 90 days may not be enough.
We are reevaluating this as this goes. Again, we're all in this uncharted territory together. But I think the whole point of this free membership is to right now just get everyone engaged and involved, so we are able to get that communication going back and forth.
If you can send me that information too, Brian, I'd like to send that out to my clients that aren't currently GLI members.
Perfect.
That way to at least get them on that. And I too, I'm actually on the COVID task force. We've got our first meeting later on today. Just one thing that I'm trying to work on so as a business coach, I'm working with business owners specifically, and we meet weekly, et cetera, et cetera. But what I'm trying to get my clients to work on, and probably everybody I talk to with their business to work on, is how are you positioning yourself for the opportunities that are going to be available when this passes. That doesn't mean we have to make a specific plan. I'd rather have a plan and not use it right away than have this thing come to pass faster than we thought or whatever and not be positioned as well as your competition. So what I'm really trying to do is have people look at the opportunities that are going to be present when this passes and then adapt the plan for the when. So for instance, the easy example that we've used is so all of us, well, I don't know, you can't really tell, but all of us, unless our spouses are cutting our hair or otherwise, so we're not able to go out and do certain things that we would normally do. So I know that's retail and that's not with the realm that everybody works in, but whenever this thing breaks, do you really think that every single client of every single hair salon is going to be able to get everybody filled the first week? No. So as a competitor, I'm going to have this whole viable resource of potential clients that can't get their hair cut at this other. And there are other places it's going to be the same kind of thing. So the opportunities that are out there are something that we have to plan for. Again, it's kind of a silly, well, maybe not if you really want to get your hair done, but it's not, it's a retail example, but there are opportunities that are opening up as a result of this pandemic, both for that and for companies to look at how they can leverage their time. And some of them, the clients that I've talked to, they're like, oh, well, our capacity is getting to a certain point. And they realize that they didn't think people could work remotely. Now their physical space is actually not holding them back from growth. Now they realize how they can work. So I think that's one thing from an economic development standpoint as well is instead of, I guess the main thing is, am I able to adapt my business? And if I'm not, if I think I'm going to go back into what my business was before this, I think I'm going to have some problems in some way, shape, or form. I don't think, and I'm not a catastrophist, but I don't think it's ever going to be like it was. And which is okay. It's not a bad thing, but it's just about planning for the future. So I guess we'll see more in that task force, what they have to say today.
The publisher and CEO of Fortune magazine, Alan Murray, he has a CEO daily newsletter that comes out every day. And one of the things he says is it's going to be a gradual reset. It's not going to be returned to normal. And there will be a lot of virtual stuff still going on. And he cites all the countries around the world who have gone through this and are making these transitions, and they are not going full normal again. It's a very gradual transition. Some of them had to go back because the cases of coronavirus have increased. So we can't expect things to be probably never normal.
Well, a friend of mine he's in the produce business in California, and he does Ralph's and the big wholesale, and in his opinion, he said, this is kind of scary to hear him say, but he's got a different view on it. He said he thinks that 40% of all restaurants are not going to make it, which is a tough industry to begin with, with that outside of. So if they can't adapt, anyway, this not to doom and gloom. And I guess this is a question I wanted to ask from before. I'm not trying to take the meeting over, but it's great to talk about issues. I'm on Zoom all day talking to clients, so it's nice to just be with you guys. But I'm interested, what are in your opinion, what are some of the best things to come out of this? In addition to the fact that I get to see my 15-month-old many times throughout my day, and I will never have the opportunity to spend this much time at home with my family, or this much time with my family, period. I'm not planning on taking a 2-month vacation again. I don't know about you guys, but so there's some real positives to come out of this and positives for some clients as well. But I kind of want to hear that because there's a lot of fear and has been, and I like hearing all the things that people see that are positive in their lives.
Yeah, I can sort of kick that off, and I'll echo exactly what you said. I get to spend extra time with my 2 babies. They're 5 months old right now, so they're growing rapidly and keeping me up all night long. So I'm getting tougher from all this stuff. And then I think it's really just giving everyone a chance to reset. We get so busy. I'm sure everyone feels the same way. You got so many tasks to do, so many things coming at you all the time. Then it was just stop and then kind of think about what you're doing and give you some time to reevaluate your life and think about things that are important to you, and give you time to make a plan to maybe integrate some of these things that you never had time for into your life going forward, because we all have time to sort of think about that right now. So I hope that everyone kind of has a little bit of self-reflection during this time.
I'm hoping from a health standpoint that people get healthier, not just from the obvious hygiene, with hand washing and Lysol wipes and everything, but and the toilet paper, but also, so many people getting out and walking and enjoying the pretty spring weather, or if their gym's closed, finding alternate ways they can work out at home, but also just with the food and not being able to so conveniently go out for dinner or fast food or whatever the case is, and having to really hone their skills again of cooking at home and planning and preparing and shopping for a longer period of time instead of just running out and grabbing something. So I'm hoping our society gets healthier.
Yeah, and I think that's really with the planet too, not to be the green guy, but I mean, obviously, I'm sure you've seen some of the articles about how much all the less emissions have helped with a lot of the smog and different things like that. So, I mean, hopefully, and kind of echo what they were saying earlier, I don't think it'll be back to normal anytime soon. Hopefully people are realize, like, I don't need to go to work and drive to my office and do all this for every single day of the week. Maybe if it's even a day or two working from home. I mean, I know Humana already has I have a lot of buddies that work there and they work from home a lot of times. So hopefully that can keep the health in a good way on that too. So, and then and to kind of piggyback on that, one of the other groups I work with is the cultivators from the Waterfront Botanical Gardens. And we had a big seed giveaway, or like a small plant giveaway. Obviously canceled that. Don't want to get shamed by Papa Brashear for having an event or anything. But so we're partnering with some of the restaurants around the area. So I'm not sure if maybe Brian, I can get with you or somebody else after. But if you guys have some connections with some of the restaurants that are around the botanical gardens, that we're going to give them the seeds or the plants. And so as a promotion for the carry out. So you can say, you're getting the carry out from the local business and we're going to give you a free plant with that. So again, maybe if I could get with Jordan or Brian or somebody after, if you have an idea of some of the restaurants there. But again, just like I said, and I love the fact that it's springtime and we're locked inside right now. If it was the middle of winter, I think this would be a lot worse of a time.
Hey, Jason. My husband and I were talking yesterday about doing something similar, like for the seniors that are locked in. They're not taking visitors at the nursing homes or at the assisted livings. Your family's not able to come in, but the activities directors are struggling for things to do. So we were talking about how can we help bring them something. So are these seeds pre-planted, or are they something that we can put together like an activity packet for them to do, or what?
Yeah, the ones that we did, they started planting them and seeding them out I would want to say about a month and a half ago. So
Okay.
Little starter plants like you would have in those like trays.
Yeah.
I think I put my email in the thing earlier to get the list from somebody else because they were saying we're going to add you to that list that Jordan was talking about. But if you want to shoot me an email, I can see. I'm on the committee, but it's not up to me exactly what we do with all of them. But I know that there's one of the things on the docket was what are they going to do with some of the extras, assuming everybody doesn't get all the plants. So there was a couple items for that as well. But definitely, I sent my emails on the thing.
Cool. Thank you.
Awesome. Hey, Jason, Louisville should be doing great. I mean, 25% down in emissions and 55% growth in liquor. We should be doing okay, right?
Well, I think this may be a good point to start to wrap it up. We do want to be respectful of everyone's time. I think we had some very good dialogue going on. So everyone that has registered, we do have your email address. So we will follow this up with an event survey. This is our first time trying this format, so please let us know your thoughts. We'd like to start making this maybe even a weekly thing where we can just connect with others in the community, share what we're up to, resources to find out what's going on with you guys. Also, we'll send out some information about that free membership. Share it with anyone who's not already in the loop, because we are sending out links to various resources, updates, etc. So it's important to stay in the know, especially while we're all in this together. Something I do want to also mention, as a GLI investor, you do have access to our issues steering committees. So as the state assemblies just wrapped up in Kentucky and Indiana, because again, we are a bi-state chamber, we are now starting to plan for our federal agenda. So we do have some issue committees coming up, and if you're interested in participating in these, I actually have a list of some of the committees. Let me pull this up real quick. So we will have a bi-state issues committee. Actually, they already met on April 7th, sorry. But business competitiveness will be meeting on April 20th. Education and workforce, April 23rd. Healthcare, April 22nd. And then transportation and infrastructure on April 20th. So if you want to find out more about how you can participate in any of these, contact me. When we send the email out, our links, our email addresses will be in there. Reach out. We can get you in the loop with those. And then lastly, I just want to open up any final questions or anything anyone wants to add before we adjourn.
I do have a question about the census, and I did it online. It only took about 5 minutes, but I noticed on my USPS daily delivery email that I did it maybe 2 weeks ago, but I noticed I've got another reminder coming in the mail today. It was so quick and short. It seems shorter than in the past. Are there additional steps you have to take, or is that reminder just kind of a general, something they're sending out to everyone? Do you know?
I sit on the complete count committee for this. And so what probably happened is there was a timing differential. So you completed it, but the cutoff had already happened and the mail went out. Thank you for completing it. It is really critically important, especially right now. I put in the chat that every person who is missed in the census means that we lose $22,000 in federal funding for our community here in Kentucky. In Indiana, $27,000 per person. So if just 5 people are missed, that's $100,000 of federal funding we lose out on. So it is really, really important that everybody completes it. It's also how our district lines are drawn and how representation is laid out in the government. So if you want to have your voice heard, get out there and be counted.
And I'll vouch for it. It's very, very quick and easy to do. Took less than 5 minutes.
I just saw where Forecastle was canceled.
When did you see that?
It just came out, WDRB news. Festival and the latest casualty. Just a little FYI.
Oh, my daughter's not awake yet. This is
No.
her first year. She just, oh my.
That was like last holdout, I feel like.
Yeah. Well,
Oh,
hopefully
no.
they'll try to reschedule it. I'm with if you look at what they're planning for, i.e. the sports in and around the August and through October, you're going to have the Derby, Breeders' Cup, Masters, kickoff of NCAA football season, all within about a 45-day period. Get her filled in.
A lot of stuff going on.
Yeah.
How crazy do you think Derby's going to be this year compared to the past? And I was thinking about like Halloween even being bonkers because everybody's been pent up at Derby here. Like, I mean, I'm semi-new, so I don't even expect. What do you guys think?
Well, you're going to have U of L's opening home game on Thursday night. Then you're going to walk right into Oaks on Friday and Derby on Saturday. And 30 days from Derby is Breeders' Cup. Hey, Keelan.
I got to jump off, team. Thanks a lot.
See you, brother.
Appreciate
Peace out.
your time. Enjoy your coffee. See ya.
See ya.
I was going to tell Foster, feel free to send anyone else some Nespresso too. Share the love.
So,
Brian, well, thank you guys for the warm
Yeah.
welcome. This is my first event with GLI, so I actually like Zoom calls because I think we all give each other the respect and courtesy to listen to each other's things, and it's a little easier than trying to work the room in a traditional setting.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I could get used to these moving forward with a mixture of the face-to-face things. So.
Yeah, that's a great point, Amy. Thanks for bringing that up, and thanks for joining.
Yeah.
Guys, thank you.
All right,
Peace out.
everyone. Thank you.
Take care.
Thanks, everybody. Let Brian or I or Alana or anyone on the GLI team know if you need anything, okay?